Good morning. So I think we've got a packed one for you today. Today we are going to run up to Waco and drop off these air conditioning units that we've got, our first true step deck load. Then we are going to, on the way actually, we're going to talk about how to increase your fuel mileage. I've got 5 tips for you and I think they're very, very practical, so you may want to give that a listen. And then to round up the day, we're going to head back to our area, and then we're going to put the truck in the shop and we're going to get those oversized lights put on, so hopefully we can actually use this step deck for what she was meant for. So fingers crossed on that, we'll see, but stick around. So let's talk about those fuel mileage tips real quick. And number one is going to be super obvious, so stick around for the other 4. But number one is going to be slow down. That one's pretty simple. Once you get beyond a certain speed, and the engine really has to, or it starts to work much harder, and the turbo is going to kick in more often the harder that the engine has to work. So the faster you run, the more fuel you're gonna burn. I mean, it's obvious. Do yourself a favor, just test it out for a week. If you drive 70 to 75, you can see a difference at 65. So slow down and just try it. Number 2 is going to be install a boost gauge and learn how to drive using that boost gauge. If you can keep your boost at an absolute maximum of 20 psi, you are going to drop your fuel consumption, guaranteed. I try to drive by the boost gauge. That's actually why I have this gauge on my dash. I have 2 spots for that boost gauge. I could put it, with the rest of my gauges, but I want it right there in front of my face because I really try to navigate, to drive this vehicle using that boost gauge. The least amount of boost that I can use, the better amount of fuel mileage that I'm gonna get, plain and simple. Number 3 is going to be accelerate slowly, and this may seem counterintuitive as well. You would think the longer that you're pushing down on that fuel pedal, the more fuel that you're using, but that's not the case, and your dash will reflect that, I promise you. If you have a boost gauge installed, you can easily see this difference. I try when I'm climbing a hill, I try not to go over 20 psi on the boost, and when I'm accelerating, I try to keep it about 10. And yeah, I'm gonna accelerate much more slowly than everyone else, but I'm laughing all the way to the bank, baby. Number 4, and here's one's going to blow your mind. Stop using cruise control. There's only a couple of states that you should be using cruise control, and one of them is definitely Kansas. But if it's super flat, by all means, give your foot a break, use cruise control. But the reason I say this is because when that cruise control is engaged and it is accelerating your truck, your vehicle, it is using the maximum amount of fuel, the maximum amount of acceleration power to get you back up to speed. It doesn't know that you're trying to save money. It's trying to get you to that speed. It's trying to maintain that speed. And I promise you, if you test this out, you're going to realize that the cruise control uses your turbo in order to accelerate your vehicle. So rather than just using the horsepower, maybe barely laying into that fuel pedal and accelerating nice and slowly, it's jacking up your turbo and it's getting you back up to speed. So stop using cruise control. You'll take more money home. And number 5, and this one could be my favorite, it's called Georgia Overdrive. If you know what Georgia Overdrive is, leave that in the comments down below. Or if you have another way to increase your miles per gallon, please leave that in the comments down below. That's beneficial to everybody. But Georgia Overdrive, the The true proper way to use Georgia Overdrive is to actually kick it in neutral. I don't recommend that, especially if you're a rookie. Actually, I don't recommend that at all. But Georgia Overdrive, you kick it in neutral and then you coast for as long as possible. This is, the obvious ones would be rolling up to a stop sign, rolling up to a stop light. If you see a construction zone up ahead, or if you see that the traffic up ahead is coming to a stop and you're able to see it in an adequate distance. That would be when that's beneficial. I actually know someone that, and I'm not going to mention any names, but when they are westbound on I-40, they can coast their truck. Now they have to be over a certain weight and they have to hit a certain speed on a certain downslope, and they're not going, you know, ridiculously fast either. It's just kind of this perfect little storm that comes together, and they coast for over 100 miles. 100. Extremely little fuel for 100 miles. That's impressive. So they're very, very efficient at using this. I'm not nearly as efficient. I don't use it very often, but I do coast as often as I can. I try to stay off the brake and the accelerator as much as possible and kind of let the roads do their thing. So, you know, try and use pseudo Georgia Overdrive, because I'm not going to recommend that you use actual Georgia Overdrive. So anyway, I hope you got something from that. If you do, give this a thumbs up, but don't go anywhere because we're gonna continue the vlog. We are gonna get these air conditioning units off, and then we are gonna head back to the house and get the old girl in the shop so we can have our nice shiny lights put on up top, and hopefully make some more money with that. So don't go anywhere. Before you even say anything, I already know I need more organization in that toolbox. Matter of fact, all of my toolboxes. But I'm waiting on a haul. I ordered quite a few things, quite a few straps from US Cargo Control. The discount code is in the description down below. But got phenomenal pricing on those, so I'm kind of waiting on those to arrive. That way I can organize everything and see what all I have, see where all it needs to go. So cut me some slack, but we're about to actually unload. We just unstrapped. These guys are about to yank these off for us, and I'll catch up with you in a few. Woo! Tell you what, that Texas weather, that is nothing to mess around with. When we left out this morning, which was long before sunrise, it was 59 degrees. And now we dropped the trailer at our parking spot and we're headed over to the shop. It's 102. That's, oh man, yeah, that's something. Anyway, I guess summer's already here. We had our week of spring, so at least we had something. But headed over to the shop now, and gonna put it in the shop for the oversized lights, because I'm not just going to run them down the outside of the cab. Construction zone, sorry about that. I'm not gonna run them down the outside of the cab. I'm actually gonna have them take the cab apart and run them through the inside, and then hopefully we better be getting the body work done to fix that top. I was told it was going to be done. We set it up 4 weeks ago. We'll see. But anyway, so that's where we're headed. Gonna go ahead and wrap it up right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget, hit that subscribe button, ring that notification bell so you know when the next video is coming out. But as always, stay driven. So it's not Oh, it's so hot. Number one, and this is going to be so obvious, but stick around with. All right, so let's talk about those fuel mileage tips. You know, I have it written down, but yet it's not processing up here.